We are back with another Pints and previews for Everfest Flesh and Blood. We are on the final day of the official spoiler season today. We have some great cards, some great creators. Make sure you check out all those great creators and check out our Discord, trying to get people in there. But let's just jump right into the spoilers. All right, starting off with a big one, a legendary. We have the Rad Brad dropping Stalagmite, the Bastion of Eisenloft. It's an Ice Guardian equipment offhand. Blocked for 2. It says whenever you defend with Stalagmite, create a Frostbite token under the attacking hero's control, and then Temper. So I want to make sure we give credit where credit is due. Capallo, another creator, actually foresaw this almost exactly, had a different rarity, like 3 months ago. So definitely, he is the real spoiler accidentally of this card. But in any case, I think it's a pretty powerful card. Yes, it's a major downside to have Temper on something like this because you really want to be able to, use this in multiple cases, right? It's a very powerful effect, but that's why it is Temper. So you can't always just keep pushing this out. So you get 2 blocks, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, that goes boom. Choose them wisely, but we will see some stuff later that maybe can manipulate that to be not as easily destroyed. But you would think that a shield like this, that's so grand and amazing, wouldn't actually break that much. But again, we'll see some stuff that helps it. Otherwise, we have a second shield now for Guardians. This is nice. So the new Bravo can use this with Winter's Wail. So that's a lot of Frostbite coming. In a probably, like, you definitely sort of play more of a control matchup there where you're able to maybe throw out a Frostbite or 2 if you're choosing to block on certain turns with this thing. Or you just use it as a sort of like a safety net. Like, cool, this is my pivot turn. So I'm going to start blocking. They're going to get Frostbite so that if they want to throw D-reacts down when I'm swinging in my next turn, they have to pay for them, stuff like that. I mean, Frostbite, when you're not expecting it, or that's not the core of your deck and someone isn't expecting it, really throws people's game off. So it can be really powerful in that regard. I think this is wonderfully beautiful. Just Temper on the Legendary just kind of hurts, but I see why they did it because of the power level. All right, on to the next one. We have Mansant with the Swing Big. This is a red pitch, 2 cost, 8 attack, 3 defense, brute action attack. It says, if Swing Big doesn't hit, the defending hero creates a quicken token with the combat chain closes. So part of what we always talked about with Brute was the lack of unhit effects. We can still talk about the lack of unhit effects. This is a non-hit effect. So just let that sink in for a second. So again, this is very confusing because they're incentivized to actually fully block this out, which is very odd because they're like, all right, cool, maybe I'll soak up some damage, but then I don't mind getting hit. But really, they want to not let it hit. So they are gaining an advantage to fully blocking out 8 points of damage coming out their face. That is without any buffs or anything like that. So ultimately, this is sort of like it's an interesting time for your opponent to think about this swing coming at them. Like, cool, do I want a quicken token? Great. That's at least 2 to 3 cards if they have a bunch of armor, maybe. Like, 8 damage is a lot, and you're gonna buff this thing. It's only 2, so it's easy to throw some other cards down and still be able to pay for this thing. So you get a couple beatdowns or bellows, and then this thing just rocks their world. So again, it's a bit risky because sometimes some matchups a quicken token can be pretty busted, but for the most part, I think this is just going to be a way to make them a little bit oddly blocking it. What is going on in the photo? Like, obviously he's like using a tree, it looks like, to bash people apart. He's actually very large, but what's the liquid? Is there like a flood going on, or I don't know what's going on the bottom there, but it says Savage Lands politics is simple. Those with the biggest swing have the biggest sway. I love it. All right, on to the next one. This is Arsenal Pass. They have a wizard action, Scour. So we see a very powerful Majestic here. So 3 defense, 3 pitch, and then at cost of X. Destroy X target aura tokens and or auras with cost 0, controlled by target hero. Then deal arcane damage to that hero equal to the number of auras destroyed this way. So immediately you're going to think Rune Chants and Spectral Shields. Those are all 0 cost token auras, and the Spectral Shields, depending upon the kind of Prism deck you're playing, that can be like, oh darn, they lost a bunch, but ultimately, like, getting damaged normally is going to lose them stuff, but they're getting damaged on top of that, which is really kind of cool. So it's sort of like doubling down in that regard. And the other one is Rune Chants, and this is like the big one, like OTK decks that are building crap loads of rune chance. Really don't want to lose them, you know, at a value of X essentially. So like, cool. If you got 4 blues in this in your arsenal, something like that, maybe no extra resources on the table. You're throwing like 12 rune chance in the garbage, and they're getting zapped with them. So it's just a huge turntable or table turner for playing against these OTK ones. And I love the art in this, like these weird waves of like damage like emanating out of this just touching that thing. So I think this is a fantastic card for Kano. I don't think that or Icelander, I shouldn't say just Kano. I don't think this is going to really put him back into the seat that he needs to be. It's still a very playable card in some matchups and a very exciting card in some matchups, but probably won't make Kano be the deck that controls Classic Constructed or Blitz for that matter. Although I guess actually Blitz this has maybe some more applicability because you can really zap some people in a different way. So I don't know. I think it's really cool, and it's a very, very cool design as well. All right, next one. This is from Hometown TCG. This is a very exciting one. Nerves of Steel. This is a Guardian action aura, defense for 3, pitch for 3, cost 3. So a whole bunch of 3s. It says, when Nerves of Steel enters the battlefield, enters the arena, remove a -1 counter from a chest equipment you control. So this is where we saw Earthlore Bounty and Tectonic Plating. You can literally pull -1 counters off of those things. So it's like, cool, I'm going to reinforce my armor. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Additionally, Battle Worn and Temper on equipment you control doesn't trigger if it defends an attack with 2 or less power. And then it also says when heroes dealt damage, destroy Nerves of Steel. So very cool with the obviously with Stalagmite, because if you're getting attacked for 2 or less, and that's where it kind of stinks, is because there's not that many heroes that are going to be wanting to do that kind of thing. But I guess with you know your token auras, things like that. So we just talked about the Scour with Spectral Shields. Those are going to just be cool. I'm just going to block. No big deal. I mean, obviously you can block once because it throws it on the chain. Unless they're breaking the chain, they can still sort of hammer away at that. But you can also, if you have any Battle Worn or Temper other armor, you can throw that on there, and it does not trigger. So if you're playing like any kind of Iron Rot, stuff like that, like those are very powerful in respect of for small hits. It's like, cool, they just bounce off and that kind of thing. Obviously, this is going to be better in the decks that are going to be very controlling in the sort of sense to absorb all of the damage or block all of the damage, so this doesn't get popped. I think it's pretty cool, though. I think it's really neat design space here, and I think it's going to be very matchup dependent. This is going to be like sort of one of those hosers for like the Kodachis and things like that you really want to just soak up that damage and not have to pay for. You don't have to pay for anything here, which is really cool. I mean, obviously, if I do believe that because Battle Worn, it says in here, Battle Worn and Temper trigger when the combat chain closes. Because the combat chain is open, you can still play like attack reactions. This could just blow out your idea. So if they like Razor Reflex a Kodachi, then yeah, you're kind of screwed in that regard because it's going to go above the 2 power. But you take your wins where you can. So, all right, on to our next one. This is from Gregor Kowalski. It is Swarming Gloomveil, and I do want to take a moment just to look at this art. This is fantastic. This like wicked looking, who I hope is a hero soon, just like floating out of the monastery here. In this, like, look at all these like gravestones, just like all these like rune chants floating around this massively brutal looking sword. I really would like to see her as a hero someday, but yeah, killer art by this artist. Yeah, so making rune chants, that's what this likes to do. Making 3 rune chants is what it really likes to do. So I think on its face, this looks a lot more exciting than it kind of is because of so we'll read through it. So if you played or created 1 or more auras this turn, Swarming Gloomveil gains go again. Played or created 2 or more, gains +1. 3 or more, when this hits a hero, you can they can't prevent arcane damage from sources you control this turn. So that's great, right? Like, perfect, cool. I'm gonna have all my rune chants hit because they can't prevent it. Well, that's relying upon several things. 1, you can actually do something after this. So there's where the go again. 2, it actually hits because that's kind of important. So the +1 and then the if it hits is when it actually happens. So 4 damage is not a lot to block, and that's kind of where this problem lies with this card. Like, that's where the linchpin is. If you can force out an attack for 4 that they can't block for whatever reason, or you buff it in that regard, I guess that could help. Otherwise, it's just like, cool, I got go again, and that's not that great. So that's kind of where it all happens. Let's say you do make it work. Maybe say you throw out a Mortar-Tide. Then let's say you pop your gloves. So you made 3 rune chants, right? Those new gloves that we saw, the Vexing Quill Hand. Cool. Now I have 3, so I'm gonna throw this out. I'll throw those 3 rune chants at you. Whether they take them or not doesn't matter. As long as this hits, for one of the 4 damage or all the 4 damage that's coming through, great. Now I can try to roll my thing even more. So if you're playing Viserai and you did that, this is your second attack or second rune blade action. So boom, you're gonna get 2 because you had Mortar Tide. So there's 2 rune chants. Let's say you throw out the Revel in Rune Blood. That's 5 more, so up to 7. Let's say you're playing Bloodsheath Skelata, and then you have Sonata Arcanix. You pop that guy, make the Sonata even cheaper, and then you're going to get some more arcane damage, and then you probably draw some attacks, or maybe some more non-attacks. You get some more rune chance, whatever, come in for an attack. So you're going minimum of 7, but it really has to hinge on if they're going to take any of the damage, and 4 is easy to block. So, there's the inherent risk, but it seems like a really super cool card otherwise. All right, we have Dad Geeky Guy with Trishot. So a ranger action at Majestic, 3 pitch, 0 cost, defends for 3. You may activate target bow you control 2 additional times this turn and go again. So one of the many problems with Ranger is, they have to fire from their arsenal. And in order to do that, you have to load a card in your arsenal. You can only load, with certain cards allow you to reload or whatever, or tell you that you can put something in your arsenal. So your bows are your best way to do that. So throwing cards in your arsenal is required to shoot them. This gives you 2 more activations of a bow. What I sort of can see happening here is, with Death Dealer, you're loading a card in, you're drawing a card. So if you can sort of have that right sequence of cards, you can really extend your turn, go really wide. I could even see this going with the with Lexi and the Snapshot combo, trying to really go crazy with a Snapshot combo, letting you go again with your bow. The main thing is having go again. So that's really kind of the thing that you need to have the ability to do, because if you can activate your bow a bunch, that's all well and good. You just need to have to go again to do it. But if you're playing Lexi with that sort of combo going on, you can always dump all your resources if you run out into a shock charmer or something like that, if someone's going to actually take some damage. And so I think it's really cool. I think it's definitely going to help Ranger. I don't know a lot about Ranger, but I can see that it'll definitely add some extra damage. I do wonder why there's that gas mask on there. That's kind of very curious. I'm interested to see if we have some traps with gas or something like that coming out, but who knows? Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Cheers. So we have Tall Timmy, and cheers to Tall Timmy. Made a wonderful video talking about drinking some bevies. This one's for you, Timmy. So we have Slice and Dice. So this is a rare. We'll probably see some other colors of this. So this is a red pitch, 0 cost. War action, defense for 3. It says whenever you attack with a sword or dagger this turn, if it's your first weapon attack this turn, gains +1. If it's your second weapon attack this turn, it gains +3. Go again. So a nice way to enable a Bolton reaction with this, because if you have 2 single-handed ones... Oh, actually, sorry, it is sword and dagger, so it have to be sabers. So if you're throwing your sabers around, you got buffs on both, you can use a Bolton reaction to give it go again if it doesn't already have it. Outside of that, the first buff's not great. You could play this with a Dawnblade, like Dorinthia Dawnblade, or some single-handed or double-handed weapon. And it could cause some awkward blocks for your opponent, right? So if you're looking to see if they're going to block that first time, they'll be like, cool, I really don't want that second swing to get +3, so I really got to double up and block a bunch, but that plays into your reprise triggers on all of your cards, so that can sort of force them to, maybe think their blocks a little bit better. It makes Dorinthia even harder to block, I guess, in this particular case, because the second hit's going to be even more disgusting. So I do like that about it. We also learned that slicing is less damaging than dicing, I guess, which is, what I thought the other way around. But I also want to say, I need to see a dagger. We've seen, even from Razor Reflex, we've seen dagger on the card. Still haven't seen a dagger. I was thinking we might see one here. We have not. Not yet, anyways. Overall, great. I like 3 block as well. So, move on to the Attack Action Podcast with Tbone. This is a 1 pitch, 0 cost, 3 attack, 3 defense, mechanologist action attack. It says, if you control a card on the combat chain that was boosted, the defending hero must defend Tbone with an equipment they control, if able, boost. So, 0 cost boost cards are wonderful in general. Get that massive maximum velocity turn going. Fantastic. Love it. I'm all about it. There's actually a lot, and the 3 blocks great here too. There's a lot more ingrained in here. So obviously it's like a Magnetic Shockwave. It's only 1, and they still get the pick and all that kind of stuff they could pick before. But what I like about this is you can chain a bunch of these together. And they, if you are just boosting in between, you can force them to commit to the chain with other pieces, and then they sort of slowly whittle down. So you can snipe that spring tunic if they have some other things that they oh yeah, I'm blocking, sure, and then you throw 2 more out. Cool, they only got 4 pieces to start with. Maybe they got a shield if they're playing a guardian, something like that. But you can definitely force them into awkward situations of using their equipment when they don't want to, popping things early, that kind of thing. So that's really cool. Additionally, I'm assuming as rare, we're going to see a yellow and a blue pitch attacking for 2 and 1. But those are almost better because they're better for resource management in Blitz. Sorry, in Mechanologist. And who cares? Like, it's 1 and 2 damage. All you want to do is just snipe their armor anyways, right? So like, I feel like those are almost even more playable, or if not equally playable. So I think it's really actually a very exciting card for Mechanologist in the boost heavy deck. So I think this will see a lot of exciting play. All right, our last one is a Kaisa specialization from DM Armada is Blood on Her Hands. This is a yellow pitch, 0 cost, warrior action, defense for 3. Kaisa specialization. Additional cost to play Blood on Her Hands. Destroy any number of copper you control. For each copper destroyed this way, choose a mode. You may choose each mode twice. First, target one-handed weapon gets +1 while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon gains go again while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon may attack twice this turn, go again. So really, it's just loading up those sabers, giving them a buff, allowing them to go again, and attacking multiple times. So you're going to be able to attack 4 times with this just on this card alone, right? They're going to have to go again, so all you need is the resources. So you play this out, and then those 4 swings are going to cost 3. Too bad you don't have multiple instances of your second or your fourth or whatever swing is reduced by 1, but that doesn't matter, right? It's just, you're just throwing a lot of hits here, and then you can use like Slice and Dice or other buffs that are going to allow you to maybe swing again, stuff like that. But like, this is really quite exciting. It allows you to go really, really wide. And this art is just like incredible. I do wonder if Kaisa might become like a blood specialization later on. I mean, like, this is pretty brutal. She's all about killing and killing for hire and stuff like that. This is just like a maybe she gets into like blood magic or something. But in any case, that is super, super, super cool card there from DM Armada. But that'll do it for day 5 spoilers. That is our day 5 pints and preview. So thank you for sticking with me. There's going to be some booster boxes and boosters opened in the next few days. We'll probably try to round up some of those other cards. There's going to be a bunch of other ones that are not fully yet spoiled. We'll go from there. So I think until then, stay fresh and cheers.